welcome to Barbara Talks Business. Thank you again for joining me. And I am excited to share with you a lot of things. The first one is my relationship challenge, and then we'll jump into our topic of strategy. So, if you're a business owner, strategy is important. You'll want to listen to this. And if you happen to be watching live, please interact in the comments. And if you're watching as a replay, let me know that you watched as a replay also in the comments. All right, let's first start with the relationship challenge. Many of you who have been following me know that I've given myself a bit of a challenge for September through the beginning of September through Thanksgiving. And the reason it started in September is because September is National Self-Improvement Month. And so I decided, as a way of self-improvement, even though I'm constantly working on improving myself, is that I wanted to have better relationships and more meaningful relationships, deeper relationships. And I knew that that was going to take effort because I've always struggled with trusting others. And I've always had that wall up when somebody would try to get close to me, and I would just kind of be like, no thanks. I'd rather have surface level. And while I recognize that comes from wounds from my past, it isn't healthy for me to keep holding on to that. And so I made it a challenge it's a 12-week challenge. We're about halfway through now. Actually, we are halfway through. This is week 6 of 12. And so every week I have made an intentional effort to get together with somebody to really be intentional about getting deeper with them, to get to know them better, to allow them to get to know me better without the wall up, just being completely open and vulnerable. And then I've been coming back every week to share with you guys what that looked like, because it is a bit of a challenge for me. It is outside of my comfort zone, so it is stretching me, but I am loving it and enjoying it. So this week, I actually have 2 things to share. So the first one is that my husband and I and our daughter Haley were able to go visit our friends. So one of these friends we've had for years. His name is Nick. Nick often watches my podcast. So Nick, if you're watching, say hey. But our friend Nick, we've been mutual friends with him for years. And him and his girlfriend wanted to do dinner with us. We hadn't got to know her very much yet, even though they've been dating for several months. And we wanted to get to know her. And so we decided to all get together, and they cooked us a lovely dinner at Nicole's home. And we got to meet her children, get to know her better. We've met her several times, but it was like we didn't really get to know her until this time. And we got to really get to know her kids, which was fantastic. And so it was so much fun. We stayed so late, and there were so many times when I was like, we have to get going. And before we went, the wall in me was like, let's not stay all night. When it's time to go, I'm going to tell you it's time to go. And Isaac's like, okay, babe, like I'm not going to put a hard deadline on it, but if you feel ready to go, just let me know. And he's very supportive, but he also doesn't. He encourages me to not run away all the time. And I really like to do that. But I was surprised. I wasn't rushing to get out of there. In fact, there were several times when I was like, we really do need to go because it's almost Haley's bedtime. But then we would sit down on the couch and talk longer. And Nicole and I both shed some tears. Or I definitely shed some tears. I think that she had a few too. She's just better at hiding them than me. But we shared some great life stories. And, she and I actually have quite a bit in common. And so we really enjoyed that time with our friends. And then today I actually got to go on a walk with my friend Christy, who lives in the subdivision that I live in. And she and I have just gotten really close over the past few months. And I definitely feel like God put her in my life for a purpose. And I've been missing her because she had surgery recently. And so she's kind of been confined to her home. And so I'm so happy that I was able to get her out of the house and go for a walk. And I'm not sure if Christy watches these. She doesn't come on Facebook very much, but Christy, if you're watching, thank you for that, and say hello. And And if you are in the chat, even if you're not Christy, if you're watching this live, please say hello. I love to know when people are watching live. And so now that you guys have heard my relationship challenge, I would like to jump on to the topic of the day, which is strategy. Now, for business owners, it's overwhelming to feel like you have to plan everything out. I get that. I've been there. I've been in business now for almost 15 years. So I've been at every stage of business that you could probably imagine, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, everything above and under, right? But strategy is so important because our nature tells us that if we have social media, we need to market, we need to put stuff out there, we just need to constantly be in front of people. Now, that's not entirely false, but the truth of the matter is if you're just throwing stuff out there without a rhyme or a reason to what your purpose is, you could likely confuse your audience more than you help them, which will in turn hurt your business more than it helps it. So I do recommend that you are posting regularly. It does not have to be daily. It honestly doesn't even have to be weekly. At the bare minimum, even if you're posting monthly, that's something. And I know that people will tell you differently. And many times it's marketers who will tell you differently because they want you to hire them. I do own a marketing company, as you know, but I want you to be successful. And if you feel like you have to post every week or every day, you likely won't post at all. And that's not helpful to you either. So yes, I encourage posting several times a week if possible, but you do not have to be out there. If your posts are strategic and meaningful and valuable, people will keep coming back for them, even if you're posting rarely. But you still do need to be posting. Now, I also want to broaden this topic to say that strategy is not just about marketing. Obviously, a marketing strategy is important for your business, but there's financial strategies. There's obviously just business in general strategies. There are lots of different strategies that you must consider as a business owner, and you need to revisit those strategies regularly. Now, for me, I like to actually spend my holidays focusing on some strategy. I know that seems crazy. I do still spend plenty of time with the family, but November and December are big months for me for strategy. So I'm actually in the process. Before I jumped on here, I was working on my next year calendar. I actually do have a planner that I use. I don't have it near me right now, but I buy the Christian planner, so I get it. I think it's just christianplanner.com. They deliver it to me usually in November. And so I use that for my actual appointments and scheduling. But for my clients, because I own a marketing company, and for my own company, I like to use these that I could put right inside of the client's folder. I'm looking to see if I have a folder nearby. I do have one right here. So my folder, I take their calendar, and each client has their own calendar, January through December, and then I go and spiral bind it so that it stays together, and then it will go into their folder, right? And I am a folder girl. I have all this stuff digitally as well, but I really like having the physical folder. And so when I'm working on their scheduling, because I schedule their posts, when I'm working on scheduling, I then just pull this out of their folder. I'm looking at January, and right now this doesn't have anything on it because I'm actually designing the one. I like to brand it with my logo. None of them ever really ask for a copy of it, but I'm always willing to give copies of it. Many people just really are like, Barbara, just do your thing. I don't really want to be part of it because I'm too busy. Just do the marketing. And that's fine. But I actually have a lady that we're going to do a strategy meeting with coming up in the next week or so. And I'm going to give her one of this, and we're going to sit down together, and I'm going to help her figure out her strategy for the next year. And then I could do that for you too. If that's something you're interested in, reach out to me. But basically, then she will leave with this. It will already be spiral bound. And yeah, I brand it because I want them to remember that when the year runs out, if they want another strategy session, they know how to reach me. But I also use this for my own company as well. And so I'm in the process of designing what this year's calendar will look like. And in the past, I actually hadn't branded it. So that's why I'm not showing you that one right now. But But the purpose is that if you have an actual plan, and you'll notice, I don't know if this is backwards or not, but up here it says focus, right? So what is I don't know, and the camera needs to focus. So it says focus, and so there's the line there. So I want to give you an example. I have a client who was just posting anything on social media, and it was all valuable stuff, but there was no real like strategy, so it was confusing. People weren't coming back. They didn't really understand what this business actually offered, because there was just it was so everywhere. And so when I came in, I created a strategy, a monthly calendar, and I said, so in this month we're going to do this topic, or in this quarter we're going to focus on this topic. And so every blog post was about this focus. Every social media post was about this topic. Now, the company did way more than what that one topic was, but we focused specifically on a certain topic or a certain focus for each month, or one of them was a 2-month thing. And then we have one that's coming up that we're in the process of now, which is late October to early January. And so we're focusing on that because that's what the market is looking for this particular business at this particular time. And so knowing where the industry is important. It does take a little bit of research. And so that's one of the things I do in a strategy session, is I help you figure out what people are looking for your industry and in what months, and we plan those things out. Now, every single day is not going to be full on here. You might decide that every Monday you're going to post a blog. So we're going to come up with your blog topics, and we're going to write them in on Mondays. If you like this to be digital, you could just do it on digital as well. But then you might say, okay, I'm going to post a blog on Monday, and then on Tuesday I'll share it on Facebook. But on Wednesday, I want to make a video talking about that I did this blog. And then you want to take the strategy to connect your videos on YouTube or Vimeo, whatever you use, connect those to the blogs that are similar, and then connect the blogs to the videos. So you're driving people back and forth in each way. And that's very powerful. Creating worksheets that go along with whatever you're talking about, or guides or cheat sheets or ebooks or whatever. I also like to always ask when I'm working on this. Obviously, you don't want to do an event every day or every week. Most people don't. But I like to look at things and say, is this something we can do an event about? That we can invite people to a physical space or do a webinar? And if so, what would that look like? And then we plug that in. And it goes in with the month, right? So whatever that topic is for the month, that's what the event is on. And so then when you're at the event, then you're able to say, oh, I wrote a blog post about this, find it on my website. I did a video about this, find it on my YouTube. Or here's the link, right? Or I've got a guide that will help you with this. Here's a free guide. And so connecting everything so that every month or every quarter, you have a specific focus. Now, even if you only have one product, you can still have a different focus for that one product every month of the year. Even if you don't have a product, even if you have a service, there is a way that you can focus on the service. Or like, let's say you're a financial planner. Your January could be why I became a financial planner, and everything you post has to do with that. And I know you're probably thinking, I can't think of a lot of things to post with that. You'd be surprised, right? You have the video, maybe you have an interview with somebody, maybe you have some quotes that you turn into images, maybe you have some charts that you said, well, I was doing this before, and now I'm doing this, and here's the pros and cons of this. There's so many different things that you can do. You've just got to think outside the box. But the strategy is important. It's what really makes or breaks a business for their marketing. And really anything, like even your financial strategy. Yeah, you could check your P&L statement every month, but if you don't have a strategy, a plan to make that money grow or to use that money better, then every month it's just going to keep being the same thing. But if you, like the Dave Ramsey program, for instance, you could use this for your personal or your business. And so the Dave Ramsey program teaches you the debt snowball, right? And so you're paying down debt in like a snowball effect. But if you didn't have that strategy and you're just like, I'll just keep paying however I can, you'll likely still end up paying more money in the end if you weren't focused on what the interest rates were, or moving that money from the first card to the second card when the first card is paid off. So strategy is so, so important. And I see here in the chat, I have Angela who is watching, and she says, this is helpful. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, Angela is a grief counselor. And if you have lost somebody, or you even, I mean, during COVID right now, people are grieving all sorts of things. So if that's something you need, reach out to my friend Angela. She is amazing, and she has small group options. She has one-on-one options. She's got lots of free resources. So just reach out to Angela. Thank you, Angela, for watching, and thank you for commenting as well. And so I want to go back to the client I was telling you about, that when I came in and created a strategy, the employees started noticing it. The fans started noticing it. We were able to increase their numbers by a lot, like their email marketing. We got so many people on board, and people that are actually, their email marketing numbers are so impressive. Like, I was even surprised by them. I was like, this is actually the highest I've ever had. And so I was super excited. But what was really important was that they get most of their business from Google, and without putting any money into paid advertisement, we actually tripled their numbers from it was March to June. So from March, what their numbers were, and then in June was tripled. And so that was like a 3-month period. We tripled their numbers primarily just by having a strategy and following the strategy. So now the numbers could definitely be higher or lower depending on how much you're posting. We were doing a lot of blogs for these guys, and blogs do help you rank higher in the search engines, especially when you're using keywords strategically. And there's that word again, strategy, strategic, right? So when you write a blog post, don't just write it to just put information out there. Write it strategically to where it gets ranked in the search engine. And actually, I had a client recently who mentioned to me that, oh man, these blogs seem really academic, and that's not really the way I speak. And while we definitely want to try to match the client's voice as much as possible, and sometimes that does take some time, we want to be careful about it being too casual to where the keywords aren't going to rank you high. And so now we're in the spot where we're trying to find that happy medium where it's not so academically spoken, if you will, but it's also not so casually spoken that we can't fit the keywords in without it sounding like, bad. And so we're looking for that medium there. But he was still impressed with it. He loved the blogs, but he was just kind of like, man, but if somebody knows me, they're likely going to be confused. But at the same time, many of the people who if you're trying to get new people in, they don't know you yet, right? And so they'll see your blog, and then they meet you. And so it is important to try to have that voice, and we do focus on that. And most of our clients are like, yeah, you have my voice down spot on. But this particular one, I did explain to the client that we could write more casual, but we couldn't fit the keywords in as strategically that way, which would mean that you won't rank the way you are now. And so then it's just a matter of, do you want to rank high and be found by people who don't know you yet, or are you just trying to speak a certain way to the people who do already know you? And so that's an important thing to consider as well. Obviously, both are important, right? The new people and your current people, but having a strategy to where you can speak to both of them. So obviously, the people that we have that have a relationship with that particular client, they're getting the emails from him. So his email marketing, and even cards, we send out cards. Oh, I don't have one nearby right now. Well, most of you who are watching this have likely at some point received a card from me. We do that for our clients as well. And we just recently did a really cool branding for one of them to where their face is on the back of it. And it's not like the whole card is their face, but it looks really cool. I really wish I had one of those on me right now. I've got to start planning for having content or pieces in front of me. I never know what I'm going to jump into. I have my topic, and then I don't know which rabbit hole I'm going to jump down at any given moment. But I just feel like I need to have everything right around me at all times. I don't have that much space, actually. I need a bigger office. All right. So at this point, I'm just rambling. So I want to encourage you to continue to follow me. share with me your, where you're at, if you are working on any self-improvement stuff, and how your strategy looks. If you'd like to sit down with me to do a strategy session, just reach out to me. I'll let you know what that looks like. And I did also want to mention, you may have noticed if you're watching this on social media, that I recently put out a flyer. My husband Isaac and I are going to Honduras in the spring for a mission trip, and we are raising money to get us there. And so we've got a fundraiser going on. And so this Sunday, we are doing a coffee with the cars at Cafe Fresco in Crown Point, Indiana, from 12 to 2. That is on October 24th. And that is Central Time. If you are able to stop by, please do. And even if you can't stop by, but you would like to donate to our mission trip, I will put the link in the description so that you can do that if you so choose. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching and for listening. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, because Barbara Talks Business is live every Tuesday at 2 p.m. You have a great day.